Welcome to Automating Manufacturing Quality Control with Visual AI with Jerome Rule. Jerome is a test automation architect for a renowned Swiss luxury brand, where he is developing an automation framework for the company's test factory of more than 40 QA engineers. He has more than 20 years of professional experience in multiple industries such as automotive, mobile, insurance, petroleum, banks, retail, e-commerce, and more. He likes to say that his experience can be summarized with two words: automatized and industrialized. Also joining us today in the Q&A is Oliver Coupe, a computer-aided design and manufacturing specialist. During today's live session, Jerome will be taking audience questions after this discussion, but feel free to add questions for Oliver in the Q&A window. Please again post all questions in the Q&A window and use the attendee chat window for general comments and dialogue. And with that, we are ready to begin. Jerome, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you, Pam. Hello, everybody. I'm happy to introduce you this topic that, even as stated by Pam, I'm also having some expertise and experience in the e-commerce. I would like to bring you also on something that is more ground connected with the situation of manufacturing issues that could be faced, and also a pain that could be also addressed with the visual AI. So if you guys, you are maybe familiar with this one, I just would like to introduce you what is the situation of the life cycle of a product, of a goods in manufacturing. It started with the CAD, with design, configuration. Then we go for the planning with a BOM, which is a bill of material, where we list all the goods and things, screws, or anything that could be helping to manufacture or to build the final goods. And then after, we go to the production, and we just sell this one as usual. So specifically for today, what I would like to stress to you is how the visual AI testing has helped us with two specific situations for the design and also for discussing and planifying and anything that could be related with those two states of the art of the manufacturing. So first of all, everything is starting with the CAD. We have computer design people that just draw and everything digitalized on their computers. But since it's really large files, we need to convert those one, and mainly this is PDF. The aim of those PDF has two intent. The first one is to provide you an easy way to share it with your third-party providers, go with the meeting, or even to be with a reference for these files that you guys can maybe rely on if you have any doubt. And to bring you in the journey of this situation, I would like to make a game, just to also make you guess, and just make sure also that you are comfortable. I have done something that is quite easy for you guys. This is the spot different games that you are quite familiar. So Pam, if you're okay with that, I would appreciate if you can also play with us and lively give your thought about this one, and I also invite the audience to use the Q&A for also giving us a hint or helping you to spot the difference. Is that okay?
That is okay. I'm a little nervous, but okay. Yes.
So let's go, guys. So it's starting with something that is, as you see here, there is differences, and I will give you 1 minute, Pam, to find out where are those differences. You see that? There is really similarity. It's a screw, a really small piece that we use in the industry.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
My eyes are old. I do not see anything. Let's see if anyone in the chat has any comment.
Okay. I give you the hint. This is it. I don't know if you can see this on the screen, but basically what we have here is that there is a small difference with the one, the I, and also anything that could be related with really similarity. What's the issue with this one? You will say, well, that's okay. In most cases, when you just change the font to another one, I go for Suntory Roma or I go for another one, that's okay. But here, in this situation, keep in mind, this is a blueprint. This is a reference document. You won't make a difference between the I and a number. That's an issue. How could you say that your numbers are fine? Maybe you can also, as a manufacturer, put some numbers that would be just making your piece wrongly and not fit also in your final goods, which is an issue. This is why this is quite important to have those numbers really well, properly references. So, do you want to have a second try? So,
yes.
This one is more related to something that might have your boss really upset if you're screwing up.
Okay, let's see. Audience, I need some help.
So actually, this is almost the same situation that you guys are facing here. This is about also the difference between the 1, the L, and the I. You have exactly the situation that will be stressed out by this situation that Applitools would just stress us. As you may see, there is a lot of them. It's difficult by a normal eye to spot those one and to make sure that there is things that is highlighted properly. And this is one of the things that we really appreciate with Applitools. As you may see here, your boss will be really upset if you just make a fully, completely different, specifically reference of the material. If you're ordering something that is with the wrong one and it's already paid, you cannot have something that could be changed. So there could be a cost impact. There could be also a time consequence on the way that you deliver the things. So this is why this is quite important to really be able to have the right information with the proper way. And here in this situation, what we face is that the conversion of those PDF were just having an evolution, and the converter were just screwing up with the font and making also this reference badly named. It was not easy to spot. We faced the situation in the past, and what we have to address this one is to make sure that it will not come up further and that we'll just be able to avoid the situation. What I would like to also mention you is that there could be also different issues that not only that are about the orders or things like that, but you can have also a reference that is changed completely, which means that if you are making your baseline of reference changing, and it's no more easy to spot if it's a 1 or L or I, as a consequence, you will just screw up and it will be difficult to have something that is a reference. So this is against the principle of this one. Then you can have also the reading issue, because maybe sometimes it's too small, and that's important also that we make the difference. Then you can have also things that are not spotted here, drawing issues. For instance, if you have square or anything that is changing its size or thing like that, that could hide information, that could be also an issue. This is also spotted by Applitools in this situation. Last but not least, you have those measurement issues that consequently will just also drive your machine not to properly produce the product. And this is almost all the pain that we would like to address with this visual testing that is automatically done. What's the gain for us? Well, basically, initially, this was a human eye. Not to say that this is Oliver, that is just there in this webinar with us. He was trying in half a day to spot across 50 reference documents any issue, any regression, visual regression that could occur in his drawing. What happened at the end is that we had a chance to also use this Applitools solution that we already use inside of the company for the web application, to use it also with his usage and giving a hint or increase of efficiency over 1,500 documents, and that could be done also in half an hour, thanks to the automation and the power of this tool. At the end, when something is wrong, it can rerun it, and it will just also saving half a day. So this is a really great need of improvement of the efficiency, but also on numbers of spotting the issue that we can face. In any type of gain that we had, it's something that we estimate that could be 240 times more efficient. So that was it for this presentation. I hope that the journey of manufacturing is not so far from what you guys faced with your web application, mobile application, e-commerce website, and that could help you also to give you an enlarged vision of how you guys can apply also this automated AI visual testing application of Applitools inside of everything that is related with visual things. So that's it for me. Should you have any questions or any comments, feel free to write down in the chat, and we try to answer those one.
Thank you, Jerome. All right. As the questions are coming in from the audience, I wanted to ask, I have another one here. You mentioned this was being used already in the company that you are working for another application. What was the process in getting approval to use this for the manufacturing documents, for these CAD documents?
I have to admit that this is a tough process because nowadays, as you may see, and you guys also are offering a SaaS application, which drive also some concern about some usage that could be external to the company. So it has to be something specifically because it's a manufacturing industry that is quite well known. So to have patent issue or anything that could be related with the complexity of putting some external sensitive information, but you guys have success also to pass the audit of our cybersecurity, but also legal offices that could also make sure that there is no leak or any threat against those ones. And what I can also answer you is that you guys also offer us to go with our on-premise solution, but with the usage that we had, it was more appropriate to go with a SaaS, and it was a success to pass the audits and to make sure that we could use it internally, or even if it was an external solution.
Wonderful, wonderful. Alejandro asked, and this you can just, I think you made a reference to this, but Alejandro asked, could this also be used to review contracts? And that you made a reference to that. I reckon that behind the scene of the contract, we did not really thought about it initially. Why so? Because I would say that it depends on what you would like to check. Obviously, and this is one of the things that we have seen with the font issue that was just there, there could be a way also to track the difference between a contract. Now, if your contract are based also on specification, technical specification, I would say, yes, that's a big yes, and that could help you a lot to spot the difference and to understand what's the change that you guys have between one version to another one for a contract evolution that you might receive on the same field. All right, thank you. Now, Alejandro, I can tell you that it is being used often in financial markets, and some of our testing specialists would be happy to tell you a little bit more about that. All right, we have another question that says, how long did it take to transit from the manual process to this end result?
Oh, I think that for this one, we can answer, Oliver and I, that it's quite an easy one. The manual process was already having the baseline of documents that we were using as reference, and we had also the other folder that were containing the evolved version or the reproduced drawings or a CAD file in PDF with the new version of the converters. So that's a really easy way to implement it. It's just a command line, a Java command line. You just say, what is your baseline? You create the baseline. Once it's done, you just rerun the new version, and the compare is already done. And each time that you rerun this compare, you will always be able to reuse the workflow process of Applitools to accept the new baseline if there is any change, or to reject and to say that there is an issue don't go further with this version. It will just create a regression.
Okay, several questions coming in now. Mohammed is asking, is this comparing images in screenshot, or is it actually comparing strings?
I would like to maybe understand what strings is behind. If you're referring to the vectorial aspect of PDF, yes, it is. This is the PDF, the native PDF. It's not a print screen. It's a real file, the PDF files that we're just making the compare, which is more easy because they are the same size, the same resolution, and same normally layout.
And Mohammed, if that was not what you were looking for, please feel free to pop in another question. Okay, we have another question. Is this useful to automate visuals on map or images of it when we zoom in or zoom out?
That's a good question. I think that maybe I would delegate this one to your specialist, Pam, if you're okay, because it's really more about maybe the sizing and also making sure that you guys can do the compare. If I can maybe briefly answer this one, to ease your task, it's always recommended to use the same resolution of layouts to make sure that you can compare the peers with the peers and not to have something that is resized and that could maybe create more issue and more noise background to your reference base.
And again, our testing specialist can definitely help with those questions. All right, we have another question. Can you see older versions? For example, if you've been using this for a year and you want to track changes over time.
Yes. Yes, that's one of the things that also you guys can consider. We did not decide to take this path with the solution that Applitools is provided because we were just too young and not enough mature right now. But I reckon that there is a way, and that's always the things that should be considered in any cases, even for web application or things like that. That could become your reference base for what was my past images, what was my past with the timeline access, because each time that you enter a test in the system, it will be just there. And so you know if it has been accepted, rejected, and what was the evolution from one version to another one.
All right, I see a couple other questions coming in. Could this be used to inspect images from final products in order to detect defects?
I definitely also delegate this one to your test specialist, Pam. But on top of my head, I would reckon that this needs to have a really ISO comparison to make sure that this could become relevant. I mean that if you change the light or if you change anything with the way that you take the picture, that will always be seen as a difference, even if their AI is quite powerful. This is here to stress you the difference, and sometimes we do the exercise in the past, specifically on the web browser application. We know that there is a way that you can address the change of the colors from one version to another version of the browser. But we know also that when there is too much light difference between the picture, that could drive also a lot of stress of differences that maybe won't help you now. So, but I delegate this one to your test specialist, Pam.
That's an interesting use case. Yes, I cannot answer that as well. Okay, one other question. Nicholas says, great use case. What's coming next for you?
Maybe I can answer
a good one.
Yeah,
sure.
I can answer. So our company is moving from digital transformation, and now we are going to what we call model-based definition. It means we try to get rid of the 2D drawings and put all the dimension and information in a 3D. So for us, the next step, we'll try to not compare the 2D drawing, but just to compare the 3D models coming from our CAD software. So that will be for me the next steps in our company using Applitools.
Guys, it was a pleasure to introduce you to this manufacturing digital journey, and I hope that you really enjoy it. Thank you, Pam, for hosting us, and thanks for Oliver also for this help. Without him, I would not be able to have the capacity to cover all those questions and presentations. So thank you so much.
Again, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.